Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. We're going to talk about Retirement Boss Radio. This is, I think, probably the most valuable underused asset that we have here at IAMS. We've seen marvelous success with Retirement Boss Radio kind of through the pandemic. I have my thoughts and ideas on why that might be. Don't know if any of them are right, but certainly the results themselves are incontrovertible. So Dave is going to talk a little bit about what he does, how he does it. We'll talk about the expensing and how that works. We'll talk about the successes that we've seen and why those successes why we believe those successes had happened, and then see if it's something that is of interest to you all. So thank you for joining us today. I'm going to run through a couple things really quick, then we're going to get on to the meat of our webinar today. We're going to talk about the process of Retirement Boss Radio. And I think that as we walk through that, I think you're going to be surprised at how easy it is and how affordable it can be and how important it is to have a good partner along the way. So looking forward to that. As we're getting rolling here, I want to make sure that you're all aware of the Retirement Boss Radio and how that works into our new producer builder, that new producer bonus. We've got some folks on with us. This is a webinar I think that tends to attract some of our more seasoned producers, but we do have a couple folks on with us today that are still within their first 180 days of being appointed with IAMS and still eligible for the new producer builder. So as you can see at the 750 level, we actually have an opportunity to help you, assist you through the cost of Retirement Boss Radio. So think about that as, and obviously all business that you do in your first 180 days counts towards hitting these levels, and you can choose at which level you want to claim. So take advantage of that. A couple other programs that put money in your pocket from IAMS are the RPM program. It's the ability to refer producers and to be paid a bonus based on all the business that they do for as long as they're with us. That's a really nice opportunity for you. If you're looking to agency build without having a lot of the headaches that go with that, that's a great way to do it. And then marketing reimbursement, everyone takes advantage of that. You do business, money goes in your marketing reimbursement account. You do marketing initiatives, and we help you. We match your spend dollar for dollar. So it kind of doubles the value of your marketing efforts. Firelight, if you're not doing e-apps, you should. Most of our apps now come in via e-app, which is great for our producers and actually good for us too, because it does cut down processing time and gets business through the pipeline quicker. As you all know, we've got great back office support here. We're going to help you whether you do a paper app or an e-app. What we know is that e-apps tend to be much cleaner and definitely go into every carrier's. As a, for instance, I know with I had a conversation with Athene. Most of Athene's business is done via e-app. They probably do 70% of their businesses now via e-app. And what they have told me is that we get an e-app in the system by that same day. It's getting through the system, getting through suitability. A lot of times it gets out of suitability within that day as well. So the processing time might be 1 to 2 days. A paper app doesn't even get in the system for 4 or 5 days, unfortunately. So keep that in mind when you're deciding how you do your business. We can help you through the e-app process. That's our job here. Part of what we see as our job. You go on our system and you can register to do your apps via the e-app, via Firelight, which is what most annuity companies use, all of them on our site. So you don't have to go from site to site to site when you're getting ready and set to do your business. And then you can cut and paste. So if you're doing an app with Equitrust on a client, you're also going to do an app on that same client with North American. You can put the information on Equitrust, and you can do a cut and paste of that information and move it over to the North American application where applicable. So you don't have to input everything twice. That's a huge time saver. Even if you're going to do an application with Equitrust on a client and then 6 months later do an app on that client, or for some reason you have to redo it, or you decide, hey, that app's not going to work with Equitrust, now I got to do it with Athene, and it just saves so much time. Now you cut and paste the information, send an e-app or send an email to your client and say, hey, I need you to do the re-e-sign on. It's just a great way to do business. It also ensures you have the right paperwork. It ensures that you haven't missed any blanks, so it goes through the system much quicker. So if you are not doing e-apps, I would encourage you to do so. If you're doing e-apps carrier by carrier on their websites, I would encourage you to go to our website, register, so you can do all of your e-apps right through one portal. We've got a great advertising team here at IAMS. always have, or not always, but over the last 6, 8 years, we've had, and they do so much for our producers. I get such great feedback on the work and the results that guys and gals that do business with us see through that team, that I just encourage you to call your sales director and say, hey, what can they do? How can they do it for me? What's on the system that I can use and get branded in my name right now at no cost? We're going to do everything that we can pro bono. Everything else we do just at cost. So it's a great way to build your brand as economically and as efficiently as possible. Uh, the amount of steam that we're gaining with the retirement analyzer, I think it has to do a lot with what the things that they've improved there. Thomas Gold has put that. We've been with them for 15 years. We pay, if a guy or gal is doing business with us, we pay for the retirement analyzer, which saves you 70 to 80 bucks a month. Even if you're just thinking about doing business with us and you want to say, hey, how does this thing work and how might I use it? We'll give you access to it for 30 or 60 days, even if you're not doing business with us. I just encourage you to take an A or B or even a C client and run one on them, or use yourself as a guinea pig. I think you'll see, once you do that and kind of work through that first case and see how it works and kind of get accustomed to it, I think you'll find that it's something that you'll want to use with at least a share of your clients to further that relationship with them and give them something that they can look at. And you could see kind of from the graphics what it produces in terms of a report, the questions you can answer with the retirement analyzer. I would take advantage of that with them. That's a great benefit that I don't think enough people take advantage of. Of our top 100 producers, I would guess 15 to 20, maybe 30 of them in total regularly use retirement analyzer. So it gives you an idea of how valuable, some of the folks at the top level see that particular product. So hopefully you take advantage of that. If you want to have access to that, give Marcus at IAMSinc an email. It's Marcus, Marcus, at IAMSINC.com. Just say, hey, Marcus, I'd like to have a look at that retirement analyzer. Give them a call at 800-255-5055 and say, I'd like to get a quick link and let me try that. Great training materials available for you. We can help you with it. I would take advantage of that retirement analyzer. As you all may know, we had intended to be on a cruise in Europe, down the coast of Italy and up the coast of Montenegro and Croatia, and ending up in Venice. Unfortunately, world events and changes in the cruise patterns, Venice was no longer a viable port. We had to cancel that trip, and so we've had to shift rather quickly to a domestic location. So we're going to go to the beautiful Greenbrier. What we did was lower the qualification some, increase the opportunities. We're going to do a tag trip on the front end to Washington, D.C. We're going to give an extra day to a certain level of producers as well. It's going to be a great trip. We'd love to have you all take advantage of that. Still plenty of time to qualify. It runs through the end of June. So if you've got a couple million and you got some cases in the works, there's still plenty of time for you to qualify for your guests. We'd love to see everybody out there. Again, it's been too long since we've been able to hold a convention. As you all know, we had to cash out folks on Port of Arta, and then the cruise got canceled on us. We just had to find a way to get everybody together. So we're going to go to the Greenbrier, and we would love to have you out there and joining us. If you need information on that, by the way, you want to learn more about it, call your sales director. We'll send you something out to keep you in the loop on what's going on and let you know where your points are. We're now going to display your point levels on our website as well, so watch for that. It's already up. We got the first 40 on there. We're going to expand that to the top 75, and you can always call us for your points as well. We're back in the academy business. Obviously, for about a year and a half or 2 years, we were functionally out. We couldn't hold meetings. People couldn't travel. We couldn't get people together in groups. So we did our first one in the fall of last year. We did our second one here a couple weeks ago, and we have 3 more on the docket for this year. So if you have interest in joining us at an academy, I don't know why that says 2020 locations. It's 2022, but give us a call at 800-255-5055. The IAMS Life and Annuity Academy has really become recognized as one of the best out there right now. And the reason is that we spend a lot of time. In fact, let me do this. I'm going to put a quick poll up. We spend most of the time talking about ways to get you in front of more customers, and once you've done that, ways to convert those to more sales. We also talk about appointment setting. We've got a couple of appointment setting opportunities available there for you. We've got some lead generation. We've got seminars around Social Security claiming. We'll talk about Retirement Boss Radio. We talk about SOFA, the Society for Financial Awareness, which is a way, it's a 501c3 that is built around education. It's a way to get you in front of clients at the business level. So you're going into corporations and having seminars and webinars where appropriate to help them with their financial education, which automatically, of course, makes you a center of information that they're going to come back to you. So it's a really great way to get in front of folks. We've got the Sterling Lead program as well that we talk about there, which is a co-opt program where you get appointment setting for free, and then you work off a split commission if that's more appealing to you. We've got a federal access to federal employees that we talk to, and all this goes on at the Academy, sprinkled among product information, best practices information, so you can see why that would be of such high interest within the industry. And we take care of your costs. So we're going to take care of your travel costs. We're going to take care of your hotel, your meals while you're there. What you are out of pocket of is the time that it takes. It is a 3-day event. You'll be out of your office on a Wednesday. You'll be back in your hometown by late Friday afternoon in most cases. So it's 3 days that you're going to spend away from your business. It's the best 3 days you'll ever spend. If you would like to receive a registration packet for that, then you need to put yes on that poll. And so what that means is that you'll receive a 2-page registration form. You return that, and then we will give you a call here coming up in June. We'll give you a call in September, and we'll give you a call in October, and see if any of those dates will work for you to come in to an academy for some free sales and marketing training. So great opportunity. Love to have you join us. If you've been recently, and I know just looking at our list of attendees today, I know that's the case for some of you. If you've been within the last 3 or 4 years, I would ask that you, if you do want to come back in, I certainly understand that, but give me a call directly at 800-255-5055, and we can talk through that. We want to give as many people that have not been in recently as possible the opportunity to come in and join us here in 2022. So we'll be launching some new products at those coming up as well. The opportunities are boundless when you come in and do some training with IAMS on some of the ways that we can help you, not just in terms of product, but in terms of sales and marketing. I see a few of you have been unable or have not yet voted on that. I'm going to close that poll up in about 10, 15 seconds here. If you have questions or if you're unable to vote, give us a call. We'd love to answer any questions that you have and let you know how that will work. And our number here is 800-255-5055. And I see all of you that have voted at this point have voted yes. So I'm guessing that those that have not voted don't want to put a no. They just want to say no, and that's okay too. So I'm going to close that poll out. Thank you for voting so quickly, and let me take care of that. So now we're going to talk about Retirement Boss Radio and how that works. And I think
what your expenses are going to be.
Morning, Dave. I think that's actually Dave's hold music, which is he uses.
Morning. I'm sorry. How you doing?
That's all right. Good.
I didn't. That was my Retirement Boss Radio music.
Yeah, I heard that on. I have to admit, Dave. Sometimes when I call your office and then I get put on hold, I start talking to you as if you're on the line, and then I realize that it's just the retirement. I realize you want to tell me about Social Security. So, Retirement Boss Radio is really good stuff.
I'm going to just talk for a sec. I'm going to be right back. Okay, Steve?
You got it. Well, I haven't had a chance to introduce him. I'm going to do that. So Dave's been in the business since the early 80s. He does both securities and insurance. He's done radio or some form of radio for probably about 25 to 30 of those 40 plus years in the business, whether it's a market report or commercial or a full-blown radio show, like what Retirement Boss Radio is. So he's got a lot of experience in the radio world. He also has a lot of expertise around Social Security claiming, which of course is a big part of why people make appointments via his radio. And he has a lot of educational stuff that he does, and that is all part of the offering that goes with Retirement Boss Radio. So not only do you get the expertise to do the radio and how that works, you get set up with a local media buyer that can help you, negotiate or will negotiate on your behalf for the best times and the best cost for your radio and the commercials and things that they often throw in with that. But you get the training on how to do the radio, you get you get production, and you get a sidekick. And this is all part of the Retirement Boss Radio package. So really, it is a turnkey package to get you in the radio business from a person that is currently working like you in production. So really very beneficial and advantageous way to get into radio. A lot of people get, I think there's some off-putting. I can't do radio. I've listened to these radio shows. I'm going to tell you right now that if you want to see what a radio show sounds like and what it will sound like when you do it as well, go to www.retirementbossradio.com and listen to a few of that's Dave's website. He keeps a few of his radio shows out there all the time. So you can hear how a radio show sounds. You can hear how he interacts with the sidekick. You can hear how the production makes the world go round in terms of making that sound just the way that it needs to. And what you're going to find out is that for $4,000 a month, you can put on 4 radio shows of an hour apiece in your area that will soon start developing you direct leads, and as a side benefit will help you build your reputation in the area, which is equally valuable, but it's really, we consider that just a side benefit. What we're really trying to do for you with Retirement Boss Radio is build appointments so that you're getting 3-4 appointments each week, 10 to 12, 15 or more appointments per month with people that want to talk to you about ways that you can help them around their retirement planning. And so when you think about that and you think about that opportunity and how you could convert those opportunities to sales and how that would work out in terms of financially speaking, paying for your radio show, it's going to more than pay for it, obviously. And so we do consider that side benefit of building that reputation a really nice side benefit feature of that. So Dave, are you
I am back. Yeah, I am back. Yeah, I
perfect.
was enjoying listening about Retirement Boss Radio.
I consider that the prelude, the entry level fight to the main event. And so without further ado, let me introduce the main event, Dave Pimper.
Well, thank you very much, Steve. Yeah, and you know what? Steve kind of gave you the background on Retirement Boss Radio. Most, not all, but most advisors, most insurance agents have done marketing, but not many have done a radio show where they're actually a host. They may have done a radio spot for 30 seconds or a minute, or they might have been a guest on one show, but actually hosting a show, for some reason, not many people do that. And so what happens is during the week on radio, AM radio in particular, like kind of the Rush Limbaugh, although he is deceased now, but kind of Travis and Buck have taken over some of that. But you know what happens is that you have on the weekends, you've got open time, and that's normally on Saturday and or Sunday. Like mine's a Sunday at 12 o'clock. I'm on a big AM station in Omaha, Nebraska, which is part of my market. And there has to at least be 100,000 people or more from the metropolitan area to make this work. But I will tell you, the cost of this is in line with seminar marketing, which I also do. Is there one better than the other? Not necessarily so. One may be kind of an orange and one is an apple. And I will say this is that, hey, Steve, are you still there? I don't know why I can't forward
I am,
this.
Dave. Yep.
Can you help me forward that somehow?
Yeah, I didn't.
I was in.
All right, let me forward this for you, and I will.
I see the magic buttons now.
Okay, good.
Okay, good. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Okay, good. Yeah, so you got to ask yourself why radio. Well, first of all, tons of people listen to radio, and even more so did during the pandemic when they got tired of watching all the stuff on television. There was a lot of people listening to radio. But get a load of this: it reaches more Americans than any other platform, including TV and smartphone and personal computer. It's true. The median age is 61, and so people that listen, it isn't the kids who listen. They're listening to podcasts. Folks with wealth that are towards retirement with rollover 401ks, rollover IRAs, rollover Just the rollover market is huge. My average age is anywhere from 60 to 66. That's the normal person that I talk to. It's an upscale listening audience, higher net worth, 75,000 or more, the majority. It really solidifies you as an expert. Again, I am not putting this against seminars because I just did seminars last week. I just got 14 appointments. I got a lead yesterday on a second appointment from that seminar for 395,000. But I do have more business come in from radio than I do from seminars. It's just the amount of business that comes in. And news radio is hot. It's hot. So, Rush Limbaugh's gone, but the Glenn Becks of the world, the Kim Commandos, they're on it because they're making money. So let's just go through and tell you kind of how this sausage is made. Okay, there's 4 compartments or 4 sections of Retirement Boss Radio, of how it all comes together to make that pie. The first thing is that Dave Pimper, me, coach, and I've been coaching with IAMS for over 15 years now. I'm not trying to go in and pat IAMS on the back, but they're Steve, if you're still there, I don't know if you are or not, but I was talking to an external wholesaler from the investment side. He's talking, we know who it is, but it was a big FMO that he worked with before. And he said, when I went to work with that FMO, he had never been with a marketing organization through insurance. And he said, boy, I thought they just supplied product and illustrations. And he said the ones that set themselves apart are the ones to try to help you with your business and increase production, get a better business plan, get goal planning. And I thought, God, that sounds just like IAMS. No, really.
You.
That's the difference. That's the difference in a good FMO. So what happens is, I put this together, but I've worked a proprietary. Not in the very beginning, I didn't, but ever since the first 6 months, I've only done business for my coaching kind of abilities through IAMS and Retirement Boss Radio. Even though I had a radio show live for 11 years called Your Money Matters. This show here has been 3.5 years. I did it's called the Ending Market Bell, because I do a lot of security business also. I did a 5-minute spot on the Ending Market Bell, kind of Paul Harvey the News. I did that for 13 years. So I've just done radio for a long time, but being your own host, and especially having a co-host, which I've always done, it is really key. So I'm here to tell you what's working, what's not, kind of what the excitement of this business to make callers call really good. We every 15 minutes we actually have kind of the offer, and the offer is dynamic. There's a lot that we offer to get people's interest to call on in. They do it the old-fashioned way. We do it all through a toll-free number, and every number ends in 2677, which is BOSS, boss. So it's, my number is 888-975-2677, 888-975-BOSS. And you'd be surprised that when people, they can't remember the number, they can remember boss. And so every one of our folks that are working with us right now, including myself, it has the 8 toll-free number with the 2677 ending BOSS. It is before I even started my first show 3.5 years ago, I copyrighted Retirement Boss Radio, Take Charge of Your Money, and that's for the client, to take charge of their money. So Dave Pimper coaches you. If you don't know Social Security, you can still do Retirement Boss Radio, but I'll tell you, Social Security, Steve, we just had a conversation yesterday. We could almost have a Social Security show on its own. Mm-hmm. Now we don't spend a third of the show on Social Security, but we mention Social Security 2 times, the first half an hour and the second half an hour. It's about 30% of all of the lead generation coming in is from Social Security. Had a really good one yesterday. They came in from radio, and it was geared around Social Security, but before we know it, yeah, we're looking at nearly $500,000 for myself to go in and propose on. Doesn't mean that I'm going to get it, but remember, our business, the more you propose, the more you get in front of people, the better things that happen to your checkbook. Steve, do they still have checkbooks?
Well, just for guys your age.
Yeah, yeah. I just the better that your debit card gets. That's exactly right. Yeah. So the coaching, that's the first thing. Second thing is that I go out and I have found a media buyer. Media, I mean they're buying media like radio, television, etc. And he's a media buyer. It does over 750 shows a week that he's purchased media time. Their family's been in the business for over 60 years with radio stations. He elected 25 years ago to get from the media buying side. He's a stud in the industry. I mean, he's well known. I'm fortunate to work with him. He knows almost every major stations, the management or the owners there, and he goes to your area. Finding that radio station. So the average cost all in on this is $3,000 to $4,000 a month. A big part of that cost is the radio airtime. And he negotiates it. We normally get, I think I get 15, 20-second spots a week that are promoting my show. So when Steve talked about, we want production, you darn right, but we're building a brand. And Dave Pimper Calton, that's my broker dealer's name. I use it. That's the brand that we're building, and it's strong because it has a celebrity-like status. I mean, when people meet me, they go, "So." I mean, I'll have people say, "So you're really you are the guy," or they'll say, "You sound just like you do on radio." Or I mean, I had a guy yesterday, the one that Social Security, yeah, he said that they had listened to the show the second time, and the first time was by chance, the second time was on purpose, and they said they were impressed with with the information I was giving. And I said, "Have you ever called in on an appointment on any kind of show before?" He said, "Never." Well, it's the format. And Steve also, Murray, co-owner of IAMS, who's hosting this, also said, we make almost anybody sound good. And we do. We do. You don't have to do it like Dave Pimper. You don't. You have to do it like your personality. Now, if everybody tells you you're the most boring person in the world, yeah, maybe this won't be your stick. But I will tell you right now, not many people do radio and they think that they're priced out. From 3 to 4,000, that's it's a little more than our seminar, Steve. But we know many seminar companies that you've got to spend 3 to 4,000, don't we?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, minimum.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So pretty reasonably priced. Then there's a production company. They give the show notes. I redo the show notes. So I want to make sure that they're kind of all bullet pointed out. We don't read our script. There's an FMO, Strictly Insurance, that reads scripts, and that's fine. And they've had good success by doing that. But I always think that people could really, no matter how good you are, they can tell that you're reading. So we just, but and there's a little bit of time every week when I get the show notes and redo them. I spend 45 minutes to an hour of rehearsing because I got hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars of monies that have possibilities of coming on in under my management, through the insurance side and through the investment side. So again, if you're only insurance licensed, there are many insurance agents that are highly successful with radio marketing. So don't let that scare you away. So that production company, they get it down to exactly an hour, and then they edit it, they mix it, they take all the mistakes out of it, and they get it to the radio station. And then we when we have the offer to call in, we have a call center, and it's a high touch call center that's all live. And we have an electronic calendar with all of our guys and gals that have this with us that are hooked up to the call center. So when they set the appointment, they know each person's calendar, and it's they don't know the person, but they know our calendar. It takes us about 20 minutes on a Friday to update this calendar. It's pretty cool. And so we never have double ups on appointments, and we call them on Monday. So you don't have to man the phones. It's recorded. I did my first 11 years live. Oh my gosh. It was fun in the beginning and a hassle at the end. This is all recorded, and we lose very, very few people. So having that kind of turnkey system really, really works great. This gives you an idea a little bit of the sheets that come in from our call center. Like this one says, this was back a couple 3 years ago, but remember the comments there? Yeah, it says turning 59 soon, hasn't settled on someone yet. He has a 401k that is seven figured. Actually, it was 659,000. Also had questions about Social Security. See, yes, the appointment. This was in the Omaha. Yeah, so just pretty darn cool. I mean, we get that. I mean, it's like Christmas whenever that comes on in. If you go to www.retirementbossradio.com, retirementbossradio.com, you can hear a current broadcast or podcast of the actual show itself, giving you an idea of the quality that's there. So I talked about costs, somewhere between $3,000 and $4,000 all in. Locations are available, though you have to have 100,000 or more. Make sure that we don't have a person in your locale right now. I coach you, I train you, I go in and I critique your first 2 or 3 shows to really give you, this is what you're doing good, this is what you need to work on. And the studio can be in your office, can be in your home, could be your car if you have Wi-Fi. The only thing you really buy up front is, I call it studio in a box. You get it from Amazon in a package that we put together. It's about $225 for a professional radio mic, professional headphones, a little sound muffler, and then a little there's a little foam box that acts like a sound deadening studio. It just works really, really well together. The end result's pretty neat. Al Jolson's an old time actor, actually back in the silent movie era, but he said, I'd like to do radio just like pictures leave the imperfect stuff on the cutting room floor. Well, you can, because this is a recorded show. Even though it sounds absolutely live, it is recorded. Steve, we're going to put the poll up and see if people would like to talk to me. 15, 20 minutes, pretty laid back. But if you've never thought about radio, or you did it and you didn't have success, gosh, mark yes. Brady Pelzer will give you a call, set up a time with me. It's not a long call, 15, 20 minutes, just to get a feeling of what you're doing and what I'm doing, and maybe how radio could help. Or maybe we talk about seminar marketing, just something to get in front of people that is a good return on your investment. Your ROI is good. But the procrastination slide says, procrastination is my sin. It brings me constant sorrow. I really shouldn't practice it. Perhaps I'll stop. Doesn't come. Procrastinate. I've never had anybody come to me and say, my gosh, Dave, you can't believe how much money I've made from procrastinating. I've gotten rich off of procrastinating. Don't procrastinate here. If you heard something in that last 15, 20 minutes of kind of my spiel on what radio can do, I'm not hyping it. I mean, I average between 10 and 15 appointments virtually every single month. I keep almost every single appointment. Hardly ever does. I mean, just once in a while, one will back out. They're quality leads, and they hear you. They already have some association when you meet. So I'm going to see if there's any questions, Steve, and then we can kind of put this in the can for the day.
Well, there are a couple questions. So Tony wants to know how long you've been doing Retirement Boss Radio.
3.5 years.
3.5 years.
Yep.
So Tony, if you have a follow-up question to that, if there's some reason in particular that you asked that question. So I had mentioned, Dave, I think maybe before you joined us, that you have 30 plus years of experience in radio in general, that you've done some after the market report, some commentary, and then at one point and this goes back some years ago, did you do a live half-hour radio
7
show?
years. Yeah, that Your Money Matters was on Saturday morning. It took every one of my Saturday mornings for 11 years because it was
Amy
live.
must have loved that. Yeah.
You know what she did? She was very unhappy when I stopped it. That's right. And so, oh, you know me so well, Steve. Yeah. So what happened is that I did that for 11 years. I did it at the radio station. It was a smaller AM station. My goal on that show with the radio owner, and he was the co-host, like the color guy, like Steve Siddall does. But what happens is that my goal, unbelievably, was not to go in and to build this bring tons of business. And my goal was to get well known in this town that was new to me, that I had broke into it. And boy, it really, really did that. Did I get business from it? Absolutely, I did. Absolutely. But I will say what happens is that um, the intention now is to get appointments. Period. And appointments, of course, the right appointment leads to written money. And so the goal are different. I got extremely well known in this town of 45,000. I was the celebrity. But you know what? I could care less whether I'm a celebrity. I want appointments. And so the goal on this is to get appointments. And you know what? It's pretty much been mission accomplished for the folks that are using it, because appointments are pretty abundant on radio. And I think they will be for quite a while, for a future to come. Absolutely.
Tony did pop in as follow up. So the reason he's asking is he just want to know how time affected your appointments. I'm paraphrasing as best I can here, Tony,
Yeah.
but I think and it's a valid question. I guess maybe when you first started doing them, Dave, do you remember what your appointment levels were? Were you still getting that 2, 3, 4 appointments a week right out of the gate? I don't remember, honestly.
Yeah. So yeah, good point. Here's what happens is radio, different than seminars. I could just be dropped down in a helicopter to Timbuktu, Michigan, and I could, as long as there's enough people, I could do a seminar, and I can write, and I will get some appointments right there. Radio's a little different. The first time they hear you on radio, you're brand new. The second time they hear you, and all of a sudden, more people start listening. So what happened was, when I started, and remember, I had done radio for a long time, I had 0 appointments for my first 3 weeks, 3.5 years ago. And you've always heard me say the key to marketing is consistency and persistency. Okay. Well, after 3 weeks of getting shut down, um, um, I was in a recession in my mind. And then the next week I got 2 appointments, and then after that, I I mean, I'm not that I never get blanked on a weekend, but it certainly doesn't happen very often at all. And I've had, normally I'm going to get 2 or 3 or 4 appointments per Sunday. I've had as high as 7 appointments. And of course I've had some that you don't get any, but it's that being in business. So I would say, if you don't have that 3 months to 6 month window, that you're, because the more you do, the better you get. That should be your intent when you start Retirement Boss Radio. That you've got to put some time into it, study your notes, and be a professional at your trade, at your craft. And I think that you'd see a good return on your investment from that.
Good. So, Tony, if there's any other, and I don't know if you've put a yes on the poll, Tony. If you want to have a one-on-one conversation with Dave, just put yes on the poll. I've surmised that the folks that are not voting, which are a couple of you here, you're essentially voting no. We won't follow up with you on that. So, Vic, let me read this really quick, Dave. Okay, so you didn't really walk through your kind of calls to action, and then what that results in with the firm that does your answering point, then how they go about setting up an appointment, or at least if you could go through it again, I think that would be helpful.
Sure, no problem. So at the end of every 15-minute segment, so an hour, you have 4 segments. It's about a minute and a half probably of basically of a call to action. If you call in the next 15 minutes, if you're one of the first 5 callers, here's what we'll do for you. And I talk about, we do a fee analysis. So you're just going in and kind of seeing, like, I just had a variable annuity, Steve, that they said we would like to have a fee analysis on this annuity that we have. And it was one of the big firms that do variable annuities. What do you think that internal fee was on that for them? They had an income rider, and they had a stepped up death benefit rider, and then it was a variable annuity. What do you think the fee was?
5.5%.
Yeah, it was 4.8%. Kind of hard to make money, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
this year, if the market's down 8 and they lose 5, they're going to lose 13. I mean, it's just tough. Yeah. So they said, I don't think we ever knew that. Well, believe me, you'd remember that. That's what I told him. You'd remember that if your advisor told you that. And so
Mhm.
what happens is we do a fee analysis, or we might say, hey, for your free Social Security report. And so we tell Social Security is a major player in this. I'll tell you what, Social Security, hot subject. 10, 11 thousand people every day turning not just 65 or 66, but turning 62, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that really don't know. And with Social Security, they're limited, of what they can say. They can't give advice. It's a really so I coach everybody up on that. I mean, there's 3 coaching sessions, and thankful for your firm, Steve. IAMS pays me. It doesn't come out of the producer's pocket. It comes from IAMS's pocket that pays me. So we want this as little expense as possible when it comes to the producer.
And so you'll do kind of a call to action, then the call goes into the call center, and then the call center basically says that they'll set an appointment with the radio host, with in this case you. And so that's how it results in a direct appointment. And Victor, if you have a follow-up question to that or want to know how that works in more detail, again, I would put yes on that poll, or certainly just type it in and we'll try and get it answered. I'm guessing that other people have the same question. There's a couple questions about cost, and I think I mentioned, and I think you mentioned, that probably 3 to 4 a month all in for everything that you
Thousand,
need.
thousand,
Yep. Yeah,
not
yeah, yeah.
dollars, thousand.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. 1,000. Uh, and if some areas might be less and some might, the lion's share of that cost is actually the time itself on the radio. That's by far the big part of the cost, or production and Dave's assistance and all that. A lot of that is taken care of by IMS.
Mhm. That's
And I
excellent.
think we got all the questions probably answered there. If there is another question that you have that we haven't answered, I would encourage you again. And if you just want to talk with Dave and kind of say, hey, this is what I'm doing, he's besides doing Retirement Boss Radio and Social Security claiming seminars, he also does practice management, and he's certainly someone good to talk to about maybe a challenge or an opportunity that you might be looking at or facing in your business that you want to talk over with somebody. We'd love to talk with you about that as well. So I'm going to close that poll out. I just
Hey,
want to,
Steve,
yeah,
Steve, can
go
I
ahead.
say something real quick?
Of course.
You know, we just, and again, I'm going off track a touch, but just from a marketing standpoint, we have a guy that he hadn't done radio, but he'd done a lot of Social Security seminars, and paying, we charge $2,750, guarantee 35 people to sign up, and he's works with IAMS, and he really wanted just help getting people there. And so, we're absolutely here to help people in any possible way we can to market their business. I think Retirement Boss Radio is an absolutely untapped. I mean, Steve, we have discussions nearly every week. Like, why doesn't I mean, if you have the money, why wouldn't almost everybody do this? I mean, because it's untapped. But seminar marketing, which is easier because you can do a one and done. But what happens is you might just say, "Hey, look it, I just need to get in front of more people. We'll figure out something for you." It isn't just the systems through Dave Pimper. We've got 2 or 3 other coaches. We've got 3 or 4. You got some really neat programs going on right now that are lead generation and so forth. So IAMS is here to increase your production. That's the goal. It is supposed to be a return on the investment. If you pay 3,000, if you're not getting 3,000 through time, it's not worth doing it. It's that what times in when I laugh sometimes when I hear 30 times on your money, 30 times. Well, you know what? If you go to Vegas and you put down 10 grand and you get back 15, that's a 50. I mean, you'd be happy. Well, our ROIs are higher than that, but we have tracks to work from. So it just that's kind of comforting when you're working with a marketing firm that has different kind of programs. And Retirement Boss Radio courses is one of those that we promote, and that has been quite successful for quite a few folks.
Thanks, Dave. I appreciate you saying that. I would say this, and I know we've gone over a little time, but absolutely, we've been here at IAMS 36 years, and I can say that I don't know that we've been on the cusp of a better time to be in this business than we are right now. And the solution or the key is you've got to have enough people in your pipeline to talk to. And so the opportunity in terms of people looking for safety in the demographic that you're trying to serve, and the opportunity with higher potential returns, whether you're selling MIGAs or whether you're selling FIAs, caps are going up, MIGA rates are going up. So there's a confluence of events that is going on right now in 2022 that I've been in the business since 1984, and I've only seen that 2 or 3 times where the opportunity is where it is. But it is all for naught if you don't have somebody to talk to. You've got to have and like Dave, what do you average 3, 4, 5 appointments a day right now, Dave, where you're either sitting down with a new prospect or talking to an existing client or talking to somebody on a second or third appointment?
Yeah, yeah, and you know what? It really 4 is really. I mean, at this stage of the game, and I'm full production, but 4 is a lot. And I looked yesterday. I've got 5 appointments tomorrow, and they shut my calendar off. The only reason I got 5 because I can override my calendar. What my administrators do. But you know what? 2 to 3 appointments of new. If you have 2 new appointments a day, every day, 10 new a week, then you've got your book of business. Then you got. I'm telling you what, you're going to be writing very, very good business. And you know, Steve, I mean, once in a great while I'll have a pretty big deal come through, but my business is like Chinese torture. I mean, it's a little here, little here, little here, little here, little here. That's what I do, but I'm always producing. Oh, every week I'm doing business. That's what marketing does, and that's what we'd love to help you with.
You bet. And you know it's not cheap. I mean, I, I think some people would be stunned if they said, "Hey, what do you spend on your marketing, Dave, on an annual basis?" But still, the return on investment is still 3, 4, 500%, and that's investment today and return today. And now you've got a client that is going to pay dividends for years to come, and that's kind of the secret sauce, I think, of this business that sometimes gets lost. So we'd love to help you with that, whether you're looking for a situation which we have available where you could say, hey, you guys set appointments for me, and if I do a piece of business, then we can split the case 75-25. We have that opportunity. We have low cost appointment setting. We have Social Security seminars where you get, and other seminar opportunities. We've got ways to get you in front of large companies and corporations on an educational basis. We've got Retirement Boss Radio where you can meet people on the radio and build your brand locally to an infinitesimal level that will pay dividends for you for years to come. There's the opportunities abound. The time is better than ever. Like I said, there's just not many times where I've seen things come together that will serve will serve our business, that fixed insurance product business, where people are looking for safety and guarantees. At the numbers, the demographics are extreme, and the marketplace is setting up to make that more sought after than ever before. Everything's coming together for a great opportunity. We'd love to help you with that. Give us a call and let us know how we can talk you through that. I know many of you have set up a point with Dave. He'll be glad to help you at any level as well, whether you want to talk about radio or seminars or even practice management. He'll be glad to help you at any level. So we're here to help you. When you are successful, we are successful. When you do nothing, it doesn't help you and it doesn't help us. So if we can help you, please let us know. We're here at IAMS 800-255-5055. Catch the wave. Now is a great time. Have a great day.
Okay, thanks everybody. Bye now.